selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
Welcome to the IPA Champions Cup, live on Sporty Stuff TV.
Well, a very, very good evening and welcome to the second semi-final night here at the Sporty Stuff Champions Cup of Pool. And we've got a great night ahead of us tonight. Absolutely fantastic matches as well. And the tension tonight is going to be really strong tonight, the tension. And I've got with me, talking of tension, my old mate next to me, the pool expert, Mark Pickworth. Good evening, Mark.
Alan, Gary, how are we doing?
Plenty of pressure on you tonight, mate. I can assure you, pressure tonight out there is unbelievable.
Well, I like the pressure, and no doubt you're going to put me under a bit more pressure when you talk about the odds and that a bit later on. But we are down to the business part of this competition now, and it's going to be very interesting to see who comes through.
Well, can we talk about last night? What happened, Mark? For the
Yeah, absolutely. So we've already had two players. They're already in Tuesday's Event 1 final. Tomorrow night, it's going to be here, the Event 1 final. And there you see the two players that got through last night, Liam Dunster and Corey Reese. We thought they could have been a bit closer yesterday, but these two players, they sort of ran away with it in the end.
They were the two favourites last night.
Yeah, they were. The bookies got it right, didn't they? They really did. I thought Dean Shields might have caused an upset, and even Connor. When Connor and Dean played in their group stages, there was two different players last night. Now, was that down to the pressure and the setting and all this? What was at stake? And that's what probably cost them.
Big money this evening, isn't it? You know, the winner goes through tonight, and the second goes through to the final tomorrow, and they're playing here for the big one, and that's 10 grand in prize money as well, isn't it? Later on in our tournament in March, isn't it? Is it March the 20th?
March the 20th were the three event winners. So this is only event one. We've still got another two events to play.
10 grand
to get to the grand final.
That'd be handy, wouldn't it, Mark?
And that's what the players are now playing for. And the money is just doubling up at every stage. So there's even money to be playing for tonight. Even if in fourth, third, it's double again. In second, double.
Big money. Double your money. Hughie Green, we mentioned that last night. Right, our four players this evening. Tell us about our four players tonight.
So 4 players tonight. We've got our very own commentator back again tonight. Dan Davey. He played great in that.
Double D.
Group. Yeah, Double D. You remember him, don't you? But the other players there, we've got Jamie Clark, remember, he was the biggest outsider to come through, and he won that group, and he deserved to get through the way he played. He played some great stuff that night. Yeah. Can he bring it back later on? I'm not so sure. But, and then also Tom Barley, the banger, he also played some great stuff with Boyle, and I've just got a sneaky feeling about Tom, which I'll talk a little bit more later on in the show. And Andy Croasdale, he got through as he was the best runner-up. So he scraped through because he didn't win his group, but he's still unbeaten in this competition, and he's going to take some stopping. He had a great run in 2021, but can he have a good run in 2022? We didn't see the best of him in these group stages. Are we going to see the best of him tonight? Is he saving it all for this stage now to get through to the Event 1 final? And the betting partners, they've got him as a second favourite, which you're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah, we've got Dan Davey's going to be favourite this evening. I think I'm looking at the screen. I think Dan Davey's going to be about 11 or 8 chance this evening. And to me, Dan Davey to win the group, 11 or 8. Then we've got Jamie Clark, 12 to 1. When Jamie won his previous competition here, about a few days ago, about 4 or 5 days ago, he was 8 to 1. He's now 12 to 1. Why they've gone 12 to 1, the bookies, I don't know. And then you've got Tom Barley, he's 11 to 4. You think he's got a big chance tonight, Tom? So do I. I think Tom's in it. And Andy Croasdale, he's 9 to 4. But Dan Daly at 11 to 8. You think he's no value at 11 to 8, don't you? I know you think Dan's a fantastic player. Commentates here on Sporty Stuff for us as well, and he's a lovely chap as well, and he would cook the best breakfast out of all of these, because you know he's got a lovely cafe in Reading. But 11 or 8 for you, he's no value, is he?
Not really, because this is a short race format. I think this is a very open group, and for me, any 4 of these players can get through to this Event 1 final. And it is all going to be down to the break. It's all going to be down to who can hold the nerves. But Dan Davey, yes, is the outright favourite in the betting partners. But is he the outright favourite tonight? Not in my eyes. No. There is a lot of players out there, and I think they could cause some upsets. We didn't get no upsets last night, Gary, but I'm expecting some tonight.
So you think the bookies have got it wrong tonight?
I do, yeah. I really do.
Do you ever see a poor bookie?
Well, I'm looking at one, am I? Oh, it's gone quiet.
Thank you very much. That's nice. Isn't it? I'd rather look at Dan Daly. Here we go. That was nice of you. I thought I'd come have a nice night at the pool tonight, and you're giving me a poor bookie. You remember Frankie Dettori? I know you do. Anyway, Dan Daly, what are we going to do here?
Well, Dan Davey, look, he's got a good record. Yeah, he's had 2 wins. He's had a draw. And but has he played anybody yet? Yes, he had a tough game against Greg Brown. But look, he's washed him away 4-1. Dan Davey played some great stuff. He really did. But should he be a big favourite tonight?
I think he should be favourite, but you're the pool expert.
A big favourite. He's like a huge favourite really tonight.
No, you think he should be bigger than 11 or 8?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it should be more evened out.
Okay.
But I mean, when you look at his form for Dan Davey, you know, he's the number 11 seed, double D, but that win-lose record, he's only got 3 wins in the last 10 matches and 47% win ratio in 2021. That's not good enough. We're in a top competition here, but he is playing well, so I'm going to stick up for him.
Cleaned up the other night, Dan Davey, didn't he? Absolutely, he cleaned up.
And he did, but you could see that pressure getting to him. And them short races, it is all about who deals with the pressure the best. And there are some players out there that I think can deal with it a little bit better.
Well, how about Jamie Clark? When he dealt with the pressure, didn't he? He was 8-1 when he won. He's now 12-1.
Yeah.
Here he is. It Sharky, is it, Clark, they call him?
Jamie the Shark Clark.
Jamie the Shark Clark. But
and don't get us wrong, we all writ him off, didn't we? We gave him no chance at all to get through at 8-1. But he proved all of us wrong. Can he prove it? Is this a step too far now? I think it is personally. But he's unbeaten also in this event. Paul Harkness, he's not easy to wash over 4-1. And then he got the draw against Andy Croasdale, who's going to have to play a game tonight to get through. Can he produce the form that he brought? He is playing a lot, so he's in a lot of competitions. So there is more chances.
Yeah, but Andy Croasdale, he drew 3-3 with Andy Croasdale. Andy Croasdale was 9-4 tonight to win. Jamie Clark's 12-1. There ain't that much in it, is there? One's 2-1 and one's 12-1 Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. You're the expert.
The betting partners have got it wrong for me, right? And you're part of that betting partner for the group. That's what I'm getting you involved in some of that.
Me?
Yeah. I'm the expert and I'll talk about it.
Never got Jamie's form. What he's done, you know, I know what he proved last week when he won at 8-1, but have a look at that. 25% win record 2021, career win 18%. According to them stats, he should be 12-1. Maybe he should be 20-1.
Correct. Yeah, probably more. Absolutely.
But I think he's going to cause the shock tonight. I've got a funny feeling he's going to win.
It's a short race. It's anybody's game. It really is.
3-3's a big run of the tie tonight as well, isn't it, Mark? Could easily happen tonight.
Probably more than once, definitely.
More than once?
Yeah, could easily be, definitely.
Beautiful. That's like me at the dinner table. I like my seconds. I don't like this one single dinner. Tommy Barley now coming up.
So look at Tom Barley here. Look, he's already knocked out Mark Boyle. He won in that group, and yeah, he's unbeaten. He's not won every match, but he's going to be tough to beat. I think Tom Barley could cause an upset tonight. I also think that this sort of format, it favours Tom Barley. The way that he plays, yes, he bangs them about, but it just suits him.
But when you said an upset, it's not an upset because you're a pool expert. Mark is a pool expert. Don't worry, he plays as well. You'll be in the competition the next round, weren't you, what we got? And you think, as I said before, the bookies have got it wrong. You think Tom Barley should nearly be favourite this evening, shouldn't you?
I do.
So it's not a big upset. According to you, you're an expert of the game, you think Tom Barley should be favourite. I think Dan Daly, I think he's favourite, Dan Davey. But you've got it, you said Tom, so between us tonight, we're going to have a bit of a. You've got fire in your belly tonight, haven't you? I certainly have.
I'm sticking up for what I believe in, and I do believe in it. And look at Tom, the banger. He's the number 29 seed. He's win-loser. That's what I mean. He's coming good. He's in form. I know he's been playing a few matches recently. He's putting a bit of time in, and that career win percentage, 66%. That's not to be sniffed at. That is some good going in the IPA ranks.
I think the more I'm looking at this, and bearing in mind I'm a pool novice, well, I'm learning, and day 8
I'll bring you up.
I'm learning. But I think tonight, what you're saying now, that Dan Davey at 11 or 8 is too short. So if you do want to go on your internet, get a bit of value with our betting partners here tonight, there's plenty of value here. This man knows what he's talking about. He thinks Tom Barley tonight, 11 or 4, is value. So it's. You realise you've got 100,000 people out here tonight listening to you here, and they all want to think they're all going to come with you. Andy Croasdale, second favourite tonight, 9-4. Big runner.
So another one, unbeaten. Only got that one win against Paul Harkness. And he's also drawn against Jamie Clark, which we already spoke about. And then we had the other Carl Clark, which is another draw. He didn't play very well in that group. I was expecting more from him that night, and he sneaked through to this round. He's got through the back door. Now, is that his push now to really push his game on? But he's going to have to start well, and his break needs to work from him from the very start.
But Andy tonight is 4-5 favourite, the bookies are gone. Odds on in the first match here is 4-5 to beat Clarkey tonight. 4-5 odds on.
And they've had
the
a draw
bookies,
already.
they don't get it wrong, though, do they? Why
They didn't get it wrong last
he's
night.
just coming into form tonight.
They didn't get it wrong
Why
last
have they
night.
gone odds on, Mark, tonight? Why is he a 4-5 chance?
Well, they obviously ain't got the knowledge I've got, and I'm telling the people the knowledge here. And I mean, look at Andy.
Oh, we've got a new name for you, the Knowledge. Then we're going to call you now. This isn't Mark Pickworth. We're now going to call him the Knowledge.
So Andy, let me try and get on to Andy Croasdale now. You've been disrupting me.
I'll get my own back.
So Crowe, yes, he's a qualifier. He's on the amateur ranks, but he's been a professional player, and that's why people are probably, I don't know, reminiscing about how he used to play. But that win percentage of 2021, 73%.
Massive, isn't it? Massive.
It's huge, but it's on the amateur ranks. He will be a professional player next year. There's no doubt about it. And 66% in his career. The win-lose record there, it's not bad. 5 wins out of the last 10. It's okay. But how is he going to perform tonight?
I think you're going to see a different Crowe tonight. I think you're going to see a different Crowe tonight.
I hope I do. I hope I'm proved wrong. I want to be proved wrong.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
And I'm his biggest fan because I think he plays some great stuff. He's so fluent around the table, and anybody that's watching Paul now, he's one of the players to watch because he's brilliant to watch. He really is.
Well, I think it's going to be tonight. If I could knock Knowledge off his seat here tonight and Crowe wins the first match 4-0, I can't wait. Crowe, please do us a favour tonight. And as I said, it's 4-5 to win. And I just think he's, you think he's taking on, I'm going to be with Crowe. We're going to have a battle tonight.
Well, he'll be on though, won't he? So, I mean, the first match coming up on YouTube, Jamie Clark against Andy Croasdale. This ended in a draw last time. So, is Andy Croasdale the outright favourite? Yes, he is, according to the betting partners.
Clarkey's 3-1.
Jamie Clark's played well in the last group.
He's a big price.
He is a big price, and he's got some great value about him.
3-1 Clarkey, 4-5 Croasdale, and I think you can get a bit of 5-2 to draw if you shop around with our betting partners. So, really and truthfully, the first match is, really and truthfully. You think the favourite's too short? Clarkey's too big at 3-1. Be interesting to see what happens, won't it, mate?
You certainly will. But then we come to Sporty Stuff TV, don't we? We go live
10 o'clock
at 10 p.m. So after this YouTube, and then we've got a real great match coming up. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. One not to be missed. Tom Barley against Dan Davey.
Oh.
They've already got a previous match, 8-4, but that was a different format, a race to 8. These race to 4s, I think it suits Tom. I really do, and that's just my opinion. My opinion.
Well, the bookies have got this wrong because they've gone even money, Dan Daly. Even money, Dan Daly. In tic-tac terms, that's even money. Levels your devils. Even money. You think Tom Barley's going to be 2-1, 9-4 to win. It could be bigger, and the draw is 9-4. So you would want to be against Dan Daly, wouldn't you? At that odds, even money.
There is going to be some draws, definitely, Gary. 100% some draws in this, and then some of the value in the draws and in these next matchup lineups. They're incredible.
Well, we're going to get the odds up now for all 6 matches here this evening. We're going to come up here, as you can see. We've already spoke about Andy Croasdale odds on against Jamie Clark. You think that's wrong. Tom Barley 9-4 against Dan Daly. You think there's nothing in it. They should be joint favourites, or maybe even Tom Barley should be favourite. Then we've got Jamie Clark, the Sharky, 9-2 against Dan Davey, who they put in at 4-7 to win. That's a very, very short price, Dan. Then we've got Andy Croasdale, 11-8 against Tom Barley again. Again, nothing in that. You would make Tom Barley favourite, Mark Wood, rather than Andy Croasdale. Then we've got Sharky again at 2-1 against Tom Barley, 11-10. That's my belly from the telly nap tonight. I think Tom Barley, 11-10. That's going to be my belly buster. I think that's a bit of value odds against to beat Clarkey. And the last match, Dan Davey against Andy Croasdale. Well, you've got to stay up for that one because that's going to be a classic, isn't it? But, some great matches there. You think the bookies have got it wrong. I'll tell you one man who won't get it wrong, our referee this evening, the one and only North East's finest, Mr. Brian Moss.
Champions Cup Stage 2 Group B match, best of 6 frames. First frame, Andy Croasdale to break. Time running.
And a very warm welcome to all our pool fans out there. Settle in, get a comfortable seat, and join us. We're going to see some top flight action, pressure pool. And our first match to kick things off, Andy Croasdale versus Jamie Clark. Kind of both got in through the back door, didn't they, Dan?
Yeah, to be fair, Jamie Clark won his group superbly, and actually these two were in the same group first off. So they drew in their first match in this competition, and they are now playing each other.
Extension, please.
Jamie Clark is a really massive price for some reason. I understand he's probably the least seasoned of these players in terms of reaching major trophies and getting through the latter stages of competitions. But for me, I think Jamie's very capable, and I think the bookies have undersold him, really. That said, he's got a mammoth task first up against Andy Croasdale, who
sounds like you agree very much with Gary in our studio. Couldn't believe the price that Jamie was on, having won the group. But, well, a miss like that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't an easy finish, that, for Andy. But, yeah, I'm with Gary all the way. I genuinely couldn't believe it. Jamie was 8-1 to win the first group, and he did it. And they've come out in this second group, which, to be honest, is a slightly better class of player, but not that much. And they've made him 12-1, and I don't see that. I think that's massive. Either way, Jamie's got a great chance to take the first frame here.
Yeah, when I say kind of backed in, they weren't two of the players that you expected to see in the later stages. Having said that, as you noted, Jamie won the group, so full value.
Yeah, I mean, despite being an amateur qualifier, Andy was, I believe, the favourite to win that group. And actually, like you say, he really has snuck in through the back door. He's the best of the runners-up, and he's got his spot by that virtue. But yeah, I just feel like Jamie Clark. I feel like those odds might help Jamie. If he's looked at those before the match, he might come out with a point to prove, and I think he should, to be honest. I hope he does, because yeah, he deserves it. He deserves a little more respect than I think he's been given with that price.
Foul. One free shot.
Yeah, that was a push. That was a mishit for sure. He was trying to draw straight back, play the red to the same pocket. So a little bit of nervy cueing from Jamie Clark there.
Yeah, that's a big error, Jim. He should have been nowhere near that red. Second bite of the cherry for Andy Croasdale then. He has missed one opportunity in this frame so far. What does he do with this red? Yellow, rather, sorry. On the left-hand side. Does he just drop on this? This isn't easy. It's a bit of a cutback. Wiped its feet, but it's there.
Nelly survived the miss. And it is Andy Croasdale securing frame number one. It's a 1-0 advantage over Jamie Clark. He held serve. And Jamie Clark will be at the table to break in frame number two.
Yeah, it'll be a nice settler for Andy Croasdale. He'll be more than happy just to get off the mark, but he won't have done it in the fashion he would have wanted. He did have a chance first off in that frame. And Jamie Clark failed to make him pay, rather. Andy's such a terrific player to watch when he's in form, though. He is so fluent and aggressive. He is one of my favourite players to watch when he's at the table.
And he is down here as a qualifier, was a former professional, Dan, so he's not lacking in experience.
He'll be back there.
Frame 2.
Don't you worry. He'll definitely
Jamie
be back
Clark
in the
to
pro
break.
ranks soon.
Trailing 1-0. Time running.
Well, we'll see if Jamie can put the thoughts of that foul out of his mind, and no better way. The break and finish should put him in good stead, but this won't be easy.
Yeah, similar to Andy's first break. He's made a ball, he's got a chance, but they're not gimmies. There's going to be a couple of tricky shots there.
10 seconds.
Doesn't help that he's snookered
Extension, please.
on this red on the left-hand side of the table by that jaw. If it weren't for that, I think this would be an easier finish, but he's going to have to do a bit more mileage with the cue ball now.
These early
nice
frames, always
Sorry,
pivotal, aren't they, too, Dan? Sorry. But
Yeah.
it just seems like these players like to get out here. They want to get on with it, get stuck in, get used to the pressure, get used to the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I guess in the second round it's a little bit different because the players have experienced this environment now. It's been a week or so, a couple of weeks since these two played last, but I imagine that gives both of them a little more of an idea of what they're coming into. Jamie's gone a little wrong a couple of shots ago, really, when he tied up the black. And he's fighting for position here. I don't really
I'm not
know
sure,
where
as
that
we
black
look, Dan,
goes.
whether it goes, the black goes to the bottom left.
I'm not convinced it does. It may do. Always difficult to tell from this angle.
It goes
it
now.
does. Took the words out of my mouth, Jim. This is a tricky little shot down the rail, though. Will he play this with a bit of side and try and hold it on the yellow? That's exactly what he did. And it went wrong. So Andy Croasdale comes back again.
Yeah, he's suffering. That's the second time Jamie has looked good value to secure a frame. And both times he's unexpectedly let Andy back at the table.
Yeah, the first frame was pretty unforgivable, to be honest, that push shot, or the double hit, whatever you want to call it. That was a terrible error for a player of Jamie's calibre. Andy's not hanging about, though, and you can see in that previous shot, that's his style. He doesn't worry about keeping the cue ball under too tight a leash. He likes to play it around the table. He's very expressive, very free-flowing.
And he knows he's under a bit of pressure because a miss with that red over the bottom corner would be costly.
It would. You're absolutely right, Jim, but Andy's one of those players, I wouldn't say he wears his heart on his sleeve, but you can definitely tell what he's feeling a lot of the time. And at the moment, to me, he looks focused and confident. And it's unlike how he looked in the first group that he played in this competition. So it's looking good for Andy Croasdale at the moment. Really good.
2-0 advantage, and he'll break in frame number 3. He has taken full advantage of every opportunity that comes his way. If nothing else, Jamie Clark knows exactly what he's in for now. Can't afford any more mistakes. I also like the speed with which Andy goes around the table. You already said he doesn't mess around, Dan. Well, That's always a sign of confidence.
Yeah, he does look really confident, really focused out there for me. This looks like an Andy Croasdale who's coming into a bit of form.
Frame 3. Andy Croasdale at break, leading 2 frames to 0. Time running.
Electing the side. And much like Liam Dunster yesterday, breaks with the second ball down, pulls the cue ball over to the side. You'll see it again. But no friends at the table.
I have to say, Jim, I don't expect Andy Croasdale to use that break all night if it continues to come out like this. It's a messy, awkward table. There is a chance on here for Jamie, but this could well turn out to be one of those tables where it's better to have the second bite of the cherry rather than the first. Jamie needs to just calm himself down, though, and be aware of his surroundings and be aware of the situation. Yes, it's 2-0 in what is essentially a first of 4, but the top 2 go through tonight. So if he can claw this back, if he can win 3 of the next 4 and get a draw out of it, he'll still be in a pretty strong position.
Trying to maintain that high level of concentration in this sport. And it just seems like it's gone awry.
That is the
Jamie's
ultimate
fighting
curse
it.
of the commentator, isn't it, Jim?
Yep. He's fighting it for sure. And this is one of the most loneliest places you ever want to find yourself when you're playing pool in a big event. TV cameras, they follow you to the chair. He's got a little bit of insurance, though. That one red nearest the top right corner.
I don't think so, Jim. I don't think that's as safe as it looks, because I think Andy's going to roll this through. He's going to take the red on the right-hand side and play it off the yellow. It's a big pocket. If he plays this with pace, it might clear out the pocket for the other red. Oh, he caught it too thin.
Well, it's the same storyline, though, Dan. Still that red. That's the problem. That's the insurance policy for Jamie Clark.
Oh, he's had a right result there, has he? Yeah, Jamie Clark's night has just gone from bad to worse because Andy's not played it to bring it out quite like that.
He does take the bull by the horns, this man, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, big time.
What a shot. Still, his work isn't done.
Yeah, it was a nice pop, but he didn't quite get into the cue ball there. Sort of stunned it rather than screwing it just a little bit that he wanted. This is very tricky. If it goes off the red, sorry, if the red goes off the yellow, this is fine. He can just play it pretty much full ball and the red will drop in. But it's a big shot at this stage. It didn't. Jamie Clark gets his chance. And would you believe it? That's what he's been left with.
Now, the pool gods are definitely not smiling on Jamie Clark right now. Comes to the table after that miss. And nothing.
Easy safety. He's played it well.
Total snooker.
This is well, 100 to 1 shot to try and pot something from here, but Andy will have a go. This will be a bit of a swipe, I reckon. Well, saying that, he's spotted that there was a possibility of getting a snooker back.
Time running.
But he's missed it. And now, can Jamie Clark get off the mark?
Time out. Time running.
He's had a couple good looks at the table. He won't get a better one than this.
10 seconds.
Now, if Jamie Clark's, for me, he either gets these or his night falls apart a little bit. Just got to be a little bit careful not to overthink this. This is an easy chance, and he'd knock these in 10 out of 10 in the club. He just needs to treat it like that at this stage and get some confidence, build his arm back up, get flowing.
This will do him the world of good, though.
It will. He is just about holding it together here.
And that'll help. Tonic for an ailing player. Jamie Clark secures the win in frame 3. It's a 2-1 advantage to Andy Croasdale, but a much-needed frame win for Jamie.
Yep, Jamie had the little bit of luck that perhaps he needed when that shot from Andy didn't work out and that red stayed stuck on the cushion. Having said that, Andy very nearly cleared up from that position, so yeah, Jamie will probably feel a bit fortunate, but in a way, I think that's how he needs to feel at the moment. He needs to feel like he's got a little bit of luck on his side. Hopefully he can grab that ball by the horns and continue. Andy will be just hoping for a dry break.
Frame 4. Jamie Clark to break, trailing 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Really, looking at your scorecard, he's only down 1 service break, isn't he? He's got a chance to level right here with a good break. And there you go.
He'd love that yellow to have dropped in the top right, top left from this camera angle. Because if it had, these reds are as nice a finish as you could see. He's going to take it on now as a plant, but he'll be taking this on as a skill shot. He wants the red as well. And he hasn't got it. So now he's stuck on yellows and he's covered a pocket for himself. That was a big shot there. And for me, it was the right shot. He took on the right call. Sometimes you have to take on the difficult shot to get started and then it makes your work easier.
10 seconds.
But in that case, he's got it
Extension,
slightly wrong. A slight misjudgment. And now he's stuck with a very awful table.
And that'll bring Andy out of his chair. And the reds are open.
Yeah, that was ambitious. I think Jamie was just trying to cover the pocket and sort of return the favour, if you like, even though it was him that covered his own pocket in the first shot. But this table is why Jamie originally wanted to go reds. They're all there. Just needs to be careful about that one on the left-hand side, but he's perfect on it now. Doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball.
Well, a chance. An unforced error this time from the cue of Andy Croasdale.
I don't get why he's played it at that pace, Jim. He could have dropped that in and he'd have been reasonably straight on the red sort of to the left of the cue ball now. And they were all there. I don't understand why he's tried to slap that in.
A big opportunity now for Jamie, though. If he can snatch these 4 yellows and the black, get back to 2 apiece, there'll be no prizes for guessing who the pressure will be on.
Yeah, this next positional shot, though, this is mighty tough. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got an awful angle.
Foul. 1 free shot,
Well,
1 visit.
he had an awful angle,
Time
and now it shows. And that couldn't have gone much worse.
Time out. Time running.
I think both players are feeling it out there. This is the pressure that's manifesting itself. And so often we take it for granted. They're like machines, a lot of these players. They play at such a high level. Sometimes we forget. They are human, and they do feel the heat.
They do, but it's such a disappointing shot, couple of shots really from Jamie, because he's just got his way back into the match. He's felt his way into it. Everything's looking good. And yeah, he's just lost it really.
Just a quick look to check out the angle to take that black into the center. Center or top left, his choice.
Right.
Oh, nicely struck. Andy Croasdale again. The mistake from Jamie Clark, and he puts pay to it. A 3-1 lead now to Croasdale.
Showed a little bit of bottle in taking that black up to the top left then. Wasn't sure if he was going to try and drop it in the centre, because that was the pocket that denied him previously in this frame. It could have got in his head, but it didn't. Jamie Clark really does need to take the next 2 frames if he's with any chance of qualifying for tomorrow's Event 1 final. Big moments for him.
And first things first, he's going to need a chance, because it's Andy at the table to break. And our referee just settles the balls into place.
Frame 5. Andy Croasdale at break, leading 3 frames to 1. Time running.
And he secured himself no worse than the draw.
He's got to change that break up for me, Jim.
Yeah, I
He's
agree
got to
with you.
change that break.
Neither one of them are really doing anything with the break. And Mark Pickworth had mentioned at the very outset that the break could be a determining factor in so many of these matches. They're so close.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, arguably at this level, the break should be the determining factor in a lot of matches. Don't get me wrong, you're never going to get big splits and easy tables all the time. But these players are all capable of running out rack after rack after rack. So if they're making a ball off the break, that should be a massive advantage. And it's one that Jamie Clark hasn't made the most of so far in this match.
Well, for me, when Jamie's at the table, he just looks a little bit more unsettled than does Andy Croasdale. The fact that Andy takes such little time at the table, he's got it very straight in his mind how he goes about things. And Jamie just seems to struggle a little.
I don't like where he's left that yellow closest to the left-hand rail, Jim. I think he had a chance to move that or pot it. If he thinks it pops, I think he should have gone for it by now. It's going to be a very thin snick in the middle from here. And he doesn't want to leave that to his last ball either. You don't want to have to play that with any pace. Well, this is, to be fair, the perfect angle. So as long as he does drop this in, should be 3-2.
Yeah, a suffering Jamie Clark right now. And possibly the shot selection or lack of good shot selection, as you suggested, Dan, could be his downfall here.
Andy's had a good go at moving that red next to the left centre. Couldn't have come out a lot worse, really. He can't drop on that up to the top left. So if he's going to go for this finish now, and looking at the position of the yellows, you feel like he has to, he's probably going to have to leave that as a
10
double.
seconds.
Means he needs to clear a path for it first, which is what he's doing at the moment. This is not an easy finish.
Well, this would have been one of the more awkward reds that he's going to get rid of.
Now it's going to have to be the double last, I think, Jim. Will it squeeze past now? He's having a look. Does it squeeze past that red? No.
10 seconds.
He's leaving the angle on the red top left to try and get onto the red near the left cushion.
Well, he could be. He could also play this with pace and try and move it. If it goes wrong, he would still have the double.
It's gone wrong.
Total
I
snicker.
didn't like that shot. I didn't like that shot at all. Going into the yellows was always odds against for me.
Foul. 1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
Well, this is an easy finish for Jamie Clark. He's just got to think about this.
Time out.
He's got the free shot. Now, if it were me, Jim, I'd just bump the black off the side cushion or off the top cushion. Make sure it stays in open play, and then you've got your 2 yellows left sat. And that's pretty good. This will be a pretty unbelievable for Jamie Clark if he does escape this match with a draw. He will be absolutely delighted. And conversely, Andy Croasdale will be furious with himself.
Well, Jamie Clark's got every chance at 3-2 just to win the last frame. And a draw it is. And he has looked far from in form. I think the 3-3 would favor him a lot more than it would favor Andy.
It's been such a scrappy match as well. Neither of these two have really got firing. Andy's shown glimpses. Jamie, to be fair, has taken out 2 easy chances and missed a couple of easy chances himself. By rights, Jamie Clark should be disappointed to come away from this match with a draw, given the number of chances both players have had. But given the score, 3-1 down, he would bite your hand off for the opportunity.
Oh, Andy's in his chair hoping to come out of it.
Final frame. Jamie Clark the break, trailing 3 frames to 2. Time running.
Are we going to start things off day 8 with a 3-3 draw? Possibly. Yeah, the break hasn't been kind to either player.
No, but particularly here for Jamie, this is his first dry break. It's actually one of his better hits. He's caught those really quite nicely. They haven't exploded, but they've split open reasonably well. How aggressive can Andy Croasdale be? He's lining up a shot here, possibly to open up all the reds in one shot. You can see him lining up a plant. If the cue ball flicks past that yellow and into the yellow and red in the bottom half of the table that are together. That was a bit thicker than that. And now this is just awkward.
It's actually difficult no matter what color you're on.
Ten seconds.
That's a clever little shot from Andy Croasdale. There's a lot of work still to do. The red on the bottom rail to the right of the yellow. That's causing huge problems at the moment. He's not going to give up going for this, Jim, is he? He's fighting so hard.
He's looking at every opportunity to take reds on, open reds. In the end, forced into discretion.
Yeah, a bit of a tactical error, though. Jamie's got to be careful here. He did a double hit earlier. He doesn't want to do that again. But if he can take this pocket... Well, I was going to say if he can take this pocket, he goes huge favourite for the frame. But if he can pot it, he stays huge favourite for the frame. That's a lovely shot. It's come out really nicely for him.
Yeah, and he'll leave that one yellow. There's 2 yellows near the bottom. Sorry, either one of them will afford ideal position to the final black. So he'll try and get rid of these 3.
Yeah, well, he would have done. I'm not sure that's an ideal angle. I don't think that's worked out particularly well for him. So he may have to take this one that he's looking at now. This gets rid of one of the more awkward ones. Actually, this opens up the finish and makes it easier. That's perfect. This is absolutely perfect.
Time out.
It would be if he didn't need a rest. Oh my word.
Time out.
Now, what would have happened had that rest head hit one of the colors on the table, Dan?
Well, I think, Jim, we'd probably have had a look at the footage and respotted the balls as best we could. Well, let's hope that wasn't Jamie Clark being put off by that.
Unreal. What a sequence of strange events there.
Certainly one way to put it. Oh, the red hasn't saved Andy Croasdale there, though. Jamie Clark's back at the table. Terrific positional shot. That is a wonderful positional shot from Jamie Clark. That is so much harder than it looks. But it's not over yet. Oh, well done, Jamie Clark. That shows real bottle.
Big yellow, that one. And in the end,
Frame.
it is a 3-3 tie.
3 frames on.
Jamie Clark, Andy Croasdale. There were a lot of errors in the match. It was scrappy and probably a just result. 3-3. Let's pass it back to our boys in the studio for their thoughts.
Yeah, I would reverse everything.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And 3-3 there, Mark. That was, Jamie Clark come from, he's done a miracle, really, isn't it? Get a draw.
Yeah, 3-1 down. It was very scrappy there. Probably the nerves were sort of telling a little bit on Jamie at the very beginning there. But a 3-3 draw, I think, Jim's hit the nail on the head there. It's a deserved for both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I was talking to Tom Barley earlier, and I said, like, the first match you play, he said, all of us would take a 3-3 draw. 1 point and then another 2 matches to play. They're still in the battle, haven't they? If they win their next 2 matches, these 2 players who played in the first match, they're going to go through, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're only going to be, if one player wins in the next match, they're only going to be 1 point behind. So there's nothing in it. And that's the good thing about this format. It's 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. It keeps everything very close. And I don't think this will be the only draw of the night, to be honest.
Yeah, I know what we should do now. Go and put the kettle on and get ready for 10 o'clock, Sporty Stuff TV, and we'll be on with live from match 2. See you in about 10 minutes.